All right, CBDCs. Everyone's talking about central bank digital currencies, right? But try and find someone who can actually explain what they are, why you should care. It's like, I don't know, searching for a rare Pokemon card or something. Tough to find, but could be worth it. You hear about faster payments, maybe helping people who don't even have bank accounts get access. But then there's the other side. What about privacy? Do governments get even more control over your money with this? Lots to think about. And then you bring Stellar into it. People hear Stellar, they think, oh, another crypto thing. But what if Stellar's actually trying to tackle both the good and the bad we're worried about with this whole CBDC thing? That's what we're diving into today. What a CBDC on Stellar would actually look like and what it can mean for you. So it seems like every central bank, especially since the pandemic hit, is at least thinking about a CBDC.
Yeah, huge global interest, partly because they want payments to be more efficient. Imagine like instant transactions even across borders. But also, they know things are changing, and central banks want to be ready for a future where digital currencies are just how it is.
And that's where Stellar comes in. Now, this isn't about like Bitcoin replacing your cash with Stellar or something.
Exactly. Think of Stellar more like the system behind it all. The platform that digital assets, including these CBDCs, would run on, makes things smooth, keeps things secure.
Okay, so Stellar's the road, not the car. Got it. But why does that matter so much with CBDCs?
Because when it's country's money we're talking about, trust matters, right? Transparency is a big deal, and that's where Stellar shines. Stellar's what we call open source. It's like, imagine you could see the blueprints of the whole financial system. Every line of code right there for anyone to check. No secrets.
So it's like a money system with a recipe anyone can look at. That's actually pretty good.
Right. No blind faith needed. Yeah. And to be clear, the Stellar Development Foundation, SDF, they're not calling all the shots. They're more like, the tech team providing the software. They don't control Stellar, just like Apple doesn't control what you write on your iPhone.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. So we've got this open system, but how does it actually make CBDCs work? Like, why not just use the digital banking we already have?
Great question. And that gets to the heart of why people are so interested in Stellar for this. Their white paper lays out four big things, four features that are designed specifically for the needs and concerns around CBDCs.
All right, hit me with number one.
First up, secure asset issuance. So with the central bank making its own digital currency, you want to be sure no one else can just, create money out of thin air.
Right, like counterfeit-proof digital cash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what this does. Stellar lets central banks control exactly how much CBDC is out there. Like those security features they put on bills to stop counterfeiting. It's about keeping the currency legit.
So no hackers creating millions of digital dollars for themselves.
Nope, Stellar's got that covered. Second big thing is speed, transaction finality. One of the biggest headaches with regular finance, especially sending money internationally, the waiting.
Tell me about it. Sending money overseas, even just a family, you send it off and just hope it gets there. It takes days. And don't even get me started on the fees.
Yep. With Stellar, transactions are done in seconds, anywhere in the world. Instant money transfers, paying tiny amounts for online stuff, even swapping currencies without those huge fees.
Okay, now that's something I can get behind. Fast, cheap payments. I like it. What's next?
Number 3, this might sound boring, but it's actually huge for making this all work in real life. Enhanced compliance capability. See, governments, banks, they need to know who's using their systems and what for.
Right, to stop money laundering and all that.
Exactly. Stellar's got tools built right in that make it easy to follow those financial rules. Know your customer, KYC, customer due diligence, CDD. It's like when you open a bank account, all those forms, proving who you are.
Yeah, not my favorite part, but I get it.
Right. Well, Stellar makes sure those safeguards are there from the start. Big deal for central banks.
Makes sense. So we've got secure, fast, and follows the rules. What's the last thing that makes Stellar stand out?
This one's my favorite. Automatic interoperability. Remember those fast, cheap international payments we talked about? This takes it even further. Imagine different countries' CBDCs all working together perfectly.
Wait, so you're saying a CBDC on Stellar from, the Bank of England could directly interact with a digital yuan from China?
You got it. No more middlemen, no more currency exchange nightmares. Could totally change how international trade and finance work.
Okay, that's pretty wild. But enough about how the system works. What about actually using a CBDC on Stellar? Would I be walking around with a digital wallet app, scanning QR codes to buy coffee?
That's the cool part about Stellar. It can be whatever we need it to be. Their white paper actually gives a really interesting example using what they call a two-tiered system. So the central bank creates the CBDC, like they print money now. Then, regular banks, the ones we use every day, they handle getting it out to people and businesses.
So no need to reinvent the wheel, just upgrade the engine.
Exactly. Uses what's already there, the relationships people already have.
Mm.
But here's where it gets cool. Those KYC and CDD checks we talked about. Banks already do those, so getting people set up with a CBDC is way easier.
Ah, so it's all about making the switch easy, using things people already know and trust.
Right. And think about it. Even people without bank accounts could finally get access to financial services. Imagine using your CBDC through something as simple as a QR code at a trusted place, like the post office, even if you don't have a bank account.
Now that's what I'm talking about, giving everyone a chance to participate in the financial system. Wow, giving everyone a chance, that's huge. Okay, but let's switch gears a bit. One thing you always hear with CBDCs is programmability. Sounds all futuristic and cool, but to be honest, I'm always a little fuzzy on what it actually means.
Yeah, it's a big one, and for good reason. Basically, it means you can set rules for how a CBDC can be used.
So instead of money just being money, it comes with instructions.
Right. Now, Stellar doesn't have smart contracts like some other platforms, but it has its own way of being flexible like that.
Okay, now you've got me interested. How's Stellar's approach different?
So instead of those complicated smart contracts, Stellar uses the stuff it already has, its features and open API, to make all sorts of things possible. Think of it like instead of building a whole new house with all the fancy stuff built in, you're renovating a really solid house to fit exactly what you need.
I like that. Practical upgrades. So what kind of renovations can Stellar do?
One example is multi-signature accounts.
Mm.
Let's say a government wants to make sure certain funds are only used for, certain things. They can make it so multiple people need to approve any transactions with those funds.
So, like, instead of one key to the safe, you need a whole bunch of people to agree before anything happens.
Exactly. And that's just one thing. Stellar also has batched transactions, meaning you can automate a bunch of actions at once. Like imagine setting it up so every time you get paid, some money goes straight into your savings automatically.
Ooh, automating good financial decisions. I like it. So Stellar's about being flexible, using what it's got to make custom solutions.
Exactly. And in a lot of ways, it can be more efficient and even more secure than those smart contracts. They can have their own problems sometimes.
Makes sense. Okay, we've covered a lot here. CBDCs, Stellar, the works. But let's bring it back to everyone listening. Why does any of this matter if you're just hearing about CBDCs for the first time?
That's the question, isn't it? Even if you're not, a tech person or a finance guru, this stuff is going to be important to understand. This could change how our entire financial system works.
Right, like we're about to cross into some new digital world, and it's good to know what to expect.
Exactly. Faster payments, easier to access your money, maybe even making international stuff fairer and smoother. It could change our everyday lives.
And it's not just the practical stuff either, right? This whole CBDC thing, it brings up some big questions. Control, privacy, the future of money itself.
Absolutely. Who gets to be in charge of this new money? How do we balance progress with, protecting people's rights? These are things we all need to be thinking about.
For sure. Knowledge is power, or whatever they say. The more you know about this stuff, the better ready you are for what's coming. Maybe even help shape it.
Couldn't agree more. And that's what's so cool about this whole thing. It's not just about the tech. It's about people. How are we going to use this stuff to make a financial system that works better for everyone?
Well said. All right, folks. Another deep dive in the books. We dug into CBDCs on Stellar, saw what's good about it, maybe even got a little controversial at times. Just remember, the future of money, it's not set in stone. It's being decided right now. And your understanding of this is more important than ever.
For sure. Keep asking questions, keep learning. Who knows, maybe you'll be the one building the next big thing in digital money.
There you go, something to think about. Until next time, stay curious, and as always, keep diving deep.